Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Unity in Marin, and we have a word from Dr. Cindy Acker.
Good morning. This is Choir Sunday.
Thank you. We're going to have our choir today, and you're going to see them. You're going to see them in a new way. You're going to see them in a new way. So we're so thrilled and excited about that. We thank Cindy and all of our choir members, and we thank all of you for joining us. We know that this will be an inspirational time for you. We know that this will be a time that will help you in your life's journey. And it is our belief, it is our prayer that we are here for equity, we are here for justice, we are here for love, we are here to help bring about transformation in this world. We give thanks to be here this day as we start, 2 live services now. Yes. And celebrating today, 55 years ago today, Unity in Marin officially became incorporated as a church in the Unity movement, and so we give thanks for this special occasion. So enjoy the community song that we're about to have, and again, let's see, what is it? Oh, okay, Carolyn was pointing. Yes, we have a text in church number. So if you're new to us, if you would text this number, 415-991-7111, text the word welcome, or if you've been with us for a while, text the word loop. That helps to establish a connection between us so that we can connect by way of text and I can send you news and so forth. Welcome and enjoy the service. It's good to see our choir singing together again. And that is so fun. And one thing I forgot to mention, every Sunday we have a Zoom meeting for anybody, anyone who's here physically, any of you who are live streaming. You can join us on that Zoom call. It's now been moved to 4 o'clock p.m. So 4 o'clock p.m. will be our Zoom connection time. And feel free to join us. That link is found on our website at unityinmarin.org. And I want to invite us into prayer. We believe in Unity that prayer is core. It is central to what we're about. We started and continue as a prayer movement. I want us to lift up and hold the people of India as they are having an extremely difficult time with COVID-19. I want us to lift up various things that are happening in our world. It's sad and frustrating to me that even after the conviction of Derek Chauvin, that there's still been a number of people of color who have been killed. without much explanation, including in Alameda. I want us to hold sacred space for what we're really about, that we are here for peace. We are here for justice. We are here to know the presence of God living in, through, and as us. And I invite you to take a deep breath. And right where we are, we know the presence of God is. God, we open our hearts, we open our spirits, we open ourselves to this presence of love, this presence of healing and wholeness. We lift up our world in prayer. We lift up our brothers and sisters in India. We lift up our entire world as there's so many different conflicts and there are so many different economic situations and health situations. We lift up our own country. It has been hit by polarized political views that unfortunately prevent us sometimes from working together. We pray for justice and equity in our country. Equity in housing. Equity in how we are treated under the law. Equity in how we are treated by police or authorities. Equity in how we live as a society, dismantling systemic racism. We commit ourselves, God. We commit ourselves to be the light. We know that Unity in Marin is a bright, shining light. And we celebrate this light. And we commit ourselves to be light and love in this world that is desperately crying for it. As we take a deep breath, we recognize and know that we are the presence of God, breathing itself, living itself, and that we are here to be the light of the world. We give thanks. We are thankful for Unity in Marin. We are thankful for this milestone. We are thankful for the people in our lives. We are thankful for the presence of Spirit in our lives. We are thankful for the anointing upon this service. And for all of this, we give thanks. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning, Unity. It's great to see everybody here in person and on this really special day. My name is Gabe Paulson, and I wanted to read the daily word today. So today's daily word is thankful. Thankfulness is my heart's natural expression. I need no special reason to be thankful, no list of blessings to inspire gratitude. The Unity author, Reverend Eric Butterworth, wrote, "One can be grateful with the same spontaneity as being happy. It simply flows forth from within, and it becomes a cause, a causative energy. With a thankful mind and a thankful heart, I release worries, frustrations, and I trust that my every need will be met. I discover more of God's presence in myself and in others everywhere I go. I see possibilities for good even in challenging circumstances. Eager to share my thankfulness, I welcome opportunities to be of service to others, just as I gratefully accept blessings that have been shared with me. I live in the flow of life, the flow of love, the flow of peace, and the abundant beauty. I am thankful." And from scriptures, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. So as we prepare to go into the silence, let's just notice all the good things around us. Here we are in this beautiful building that was put together with love. And we're coming out of a pandemic. And there's friendship here. There's people who care here. Notice all the good things around you. It might even rain this afternoon. And I invite you to put your feet on the ground and just inhale. Try to inhale gratitude and exhale anything that might be in the way. And let's give thanks for the mystery as we go into the silence. I am thankful.
choir. And I want to thank Gloria, one of our prayer chaplains, who brought up the prayer box. We are here to help you in your prayer needs. Unity is a prayer movement. So one of the ways in which you can send your prayer requests to us is by calling our main office number at 415-475-5000 and then press 0. That goes to Dory, our office manager, and she will pass that confidential prayer request on to our prayer chaplains so that they may pray with you. Another online resource, if you wish to email it, we have an online prayer group called Silent Prayer Circle, and you can email at silentprayercircle@unityinmarin.org. And that will be held in confidentiality, and they will hold that in spiritual space. And then that will also go to Silent Unity to be held for an additional 30 days in prayer. And speaking of Silent Unity, you can call Silent Unity anytime, day or night, 7 days a week, no matter what day it is, at 1-800-NOW-PRAY. 1-800-NOW-PRAY. For over 125 years, Silent Unity has been in continuous 24-hour prayer. It's a great prayer resource, and I recommend it. We have prayer chaplains who are available here, and would those prayer chaplains who are available to pray with people following the service, could you stand real quick just so that they know who they can go to? Well, we have quite a group of you. Thank you for being here, and thank you. Yeah. Thank you for holding the high watch, and after the service, the prayer box will be out here in the narthex, so you can place your prayer requests in that box so that we can hold those prayer requests in prayer. Okay, also, I want to let you know that there's a number of ways in which you can donate. One is that you can go to our website at unityinmarin.org and find the donate button there, and you can donate online. You can mail it to us at 600 Palm Drive, Novato, California, 94945. Or you can go to our text to give number, which is 84321. 84321. That's pretty easy to remember. And it's real simple. You can text to give. We want to make this a way for you to be able to give easily wherever you are. We want to thank you for your support of this ministry, but actually this ministry is here to support you, to support others. That's what we're about. We're really supporting ourselves and supporting each other when we give. Thank you for your prayerful support. Thank you for the ways you show up in the world to be the light in the world, and thank you for your generous financial support. Now, thank you, Dr. Cindy Acker and choir. If Cindy and choir members that are here, if you would stand, thank you. It's been quite a year, hasn't it? I mean, and throughout this year, Cindy has kept the choir going and practicing online and working individually online and recording online. And this was the first time this last Friday night that they got together and practiced together and recorded together. Distance with singers' masks has like triple layers and all that. Yeah. I want to talk today about wisdom from our history. And I have to admit that when I was a child and I heard the word history, my energy level immediately started to go down, because it always referred to a class that I needed to take, usually by the most boring teacher in the school, usually using materials that I could not see any earthly way in which it applied to me. And so that isn't that kind of history, okay? What history is really the story of us as a community, a spiritual community, and the context in which we thrive and grow. I want to first state that, and this is going further back in history, I want to give thanks and honor to the Miwok people. We are on the land of the first peoples, the Miwok tribe of Northern California. I want us to honor them. If we could just take a moment of silence to lift them up in prayer, to give thanks for the Miwok people, and to give thanks for the opportunity to bring justice and accountability in our day. Thank you. So we come here out of a context. In the 1700s, invaders came, and some say explorers, but invaders came, and a lot of the Miwok tribe was decimated by disease that these people brought and by abuse and violence that occurred. So you want to honor those people. Later on, this area became a military base, Hamilton Field, right? A number of you may remember when it was Hamilton Field. I was talking to someone that I've gotten to know through our Getting Real with Race class. You're probably watching Shift. Shift, as a young child in a military, in a family that was close by, was brought on a regular basis to this church when it was a military base. And he's now reconnected with us. So this building was purchased, was renovated, and what metaphysically can we learn from all of this? You know, recently I gave an assignment for you to think about, and that is to give a metaphysical interpretation to your own life. The historical events in your life, the relationships, the things that have happened in your life, what metaphysically do you learn from those things? What do those events tell you in a larger picture, in a meta picture, about what your life is really about? Thinking that we are here on this land of the Miwok, I'm thinking first of all that Unity in Marin is here to bring inclusion and to be invitational. We are here to heal. We are here to heal injustice. We are here to heal when people have been hurt in some way. We should learn from the events that transpired before Unity in Marin was ever here, that we are here for such a time as this to include all people, Black, Latinx, Muslim, Baha'i, Jewish, Republican, Democrat, Socialist, Independent, Communistic, Anarchist. We're here for all people. Our second greatest principle in unity teaching is that each and every one of us is the presence of God. That each and every one of us, if you will, is this package that contains the presence of God and is bringing the presence of God to this world. Every person, without exception, is that, at least in potential. They may or may not be aware of it. They may or may not be aligned with that presence of God. But each and every person is the presence of God. So when we see any particular race, any particular class, any particular faith group that is being discriminated against, when we see systemic racism, we know, based on unity principles, this is unity principles, come on now, that we are here to bring healing in humanity. And our fifth greatest principle is we don't just believe in affirmations, we don't just believe in these principles, we act on them. It is imperative for us who are in the unity lineage and unity teachings and principles that to adhere to that means to be active in our world, to bring reconciliation, to bring healing. I want to be a part of a church like that. And this is a church like that. We are here to be inclusive and invitational. Secondly, we're here to be inspirational. We've had lots of inspirational teachers. Many teachers. And I'm just getting to know who some of them were. People like Betty White and people like Janice Campbell and Reverend Medora Gordon and many different teachers and wonderful leaders. Back in, was it 1964, Bonnie, in November, Reverend Candida Wright, Candy, began working with people out of her living room. First of all, it was starting in what's it called? The Knights of Columbus is the way it started, right? Knights of Columbus, no? Anyway, in the living room. It started in the living room. Okay. So Candida Wright started in the living room, evolved to going to some of these public spaces. And I have heard, one of the comments I've heard about Reverend Candy Wright is that she could just hold the presence. That she would hold that presence. And if you go back to these tables after the service, you can see where she was ordained. You can see some historical pictures. Back in the narthex, we will have a TV where we are showing, clips of Richard Manti, Reverend Richard Manti, who came after Candy and helped in funding and facilitating this based on the legacy gift of Candida Wright. She left all of her estate to help build this place. Think about that. Where do you want to invest your time, your talent, your treasure? Where do you want to invest that in a way that can touch people's lives, that can bring healing, that can bring transformation? So Reverend Richard Manti helped to continue that work of transformation. And then Reverend Bill Engelhardt. Reverend Bill Engelhardt brought wonderful teaching and programming. And, you know, while Richard Manti was here, he needed help in setting up programming. And so he hired Reverend Medora Gordon. Medora has been here for a number of years, establishing programs, establishing classes, doing so much work behind the scenes. After the service, after the service today, here in the sanctuary up on the big screen, we will have my interview with Reverend Bill Engelhardt. And it's about 30 minutes long. We're going to show a couple of short clips from that today. But after Reverend Bill Engelhardt was here, then Reverend Medora Gordon became the acting senior minister, and then I came. It's such an honor. It's such an honor to be here at a place that exists to be inclusive and invitational, at a place that exists to be inspirational. We are here to be alarm clocks. We are here to help wake each other up. We are here to help each other to transform into something amazing. Now, in my interview with Reverend Bill, we talked about a lot of different topics. We talked about the beginning of the Hamilton Montessori School with the help of Dr. Cindy Acker and Sarah LaValle. We talked about how he was building the live streaming program, and I was so happy to tell him. I said, Bill, I am so grateful that you helped build this live streaming. I told him during this last year when we couldn't meet in person, we actually doubled in attendance online, and, you know, like, thank you. So we're going to see a little bit of a clip. You know, it's a fun interview with Bill because, you know, he basically said, and he's quoting from Richard Manti, who said that being a minister entails work and energy that no one else could understand unless they've done it. You just have to take my word for it. There's nothing quite like it. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. I am very, very grateful to do it, and it takes a lot to do it. Right, Medora? Yeah. But it's also fun. So I'm going to have us play just a little clip of Bill and I talking, and this clip has to do with some of the fun, okay? So let's see this clip if we could, yeah. So recently, I've gotten lots of remarks from people of how this community has healed them. So again, I thank you for your leadership, for how you helped to build that, how you helped to build that online, and help to really build this place that cares for one another. And by your teaching, your talks, your leadership, your example, you help contribute a great deal to this community that continues as some people tell me, saved their lives. Saved their lives in terms of finding spiritual principles and that deep sense of community and love that is expressed to one another. Now, before we started recording, you were telling me some things that Richard Manti was saying, and that there's no way that anybody could really understand what all a minister is doing or experiences or necessarily goes through, because so much of it is behind the scenes, unless you've actually done it. And so we've talked about a lot of accomplishments, and obviously it's a lot of work, but what are some of your favorite memories here, or what are some of the funniest memories? Either one, because it's fun too. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of work, and it's also fun. At least I hope it was for you at times.
I tell people it was the most challenging work I've ever done in my life, and it was the most rewarding work I'd ever done in my life. I mean, both of those things coming together. And there were times, a lot of funny moments. I remember I was giving a talk once, and I'm up on the platform, and I'm speaking, and all of a sudden I see all the people in the congregation going like this, going back and forth, like there's a tennis match going on behind me. And I'm like wondering, well, I don't know what's going on here. Until finally I realized there's a horsefly around my head. Right? And, I'm just like, what are you going to do?
You're being upstaged.
I was being upstaged by a fly. Right? Totally engrossed. It was hilarious. And so I just reach up, in a million shot, I caught it.
Did you really?
I caught it. And the whole thing was like stunned, right? And I was talking like it's no big deal.
Right.
But then I'm thinking, as a minister, you'll appreciate this. And what am I going to do with this? If I kill it, that's not going to look very ministerial.
Right.
If I go splat on the platform. So I'm thinking, and I'm talking, and they're just like jaws open. So I get off the stage, and there's the side door.
Right.
I just open the side door and let it out. And I come back in, and the whole place goes up for grabs.
That's great.
They're howling, and it's it's hilarious.
I love it.
And I'm in the line. This is the end of the second service, and a guy comes through. I kid you not. I thought he was joking. He said, "Did you do that in the first service too?" I was pulling my leg. I'm like, "Oh yeah."
You have a trained horsefly.
That's what I thought. I said, "Yeah, that's my pet fly."
So online, you'll be able to watch this whole interview after the service, if you would like. And those of you who are here, you can watch it here in the sanctuary. We had a great time just talking. And so Unity in Marin exists to be inclusive and invitational. It exists to be inspirational, to inspire us to transformation. And Unity in Marin is here to be imaginative and innovative. We're not here to just replicate what we've done in the past. Yes, there's many things that we have done in the past that continue to work and to serve us. The classes that we have had here and a lot of the smaller groups. But we're in a new time. We're in a very new time. We're in a time where more and more people are live streaming, including in classes. So in the future, we will be developing more and more online educational opportunities and spiritual experiences online. And we're going to be building a hybrid of in-person, online, simultaneously, where those who are there physically in person are responding and interacting live with those who are live streaming. Yeah? Now some of you are going, whoa, how do you do that? We'll be describing in in just a few weeks more about that and some exciting things that we're going to be doing here. We need to reinvent ourselves to meet the needs of our world. We need to be available for social action. I know in Unity there is this tendency to think, well, our job is to affirm and to pray, but not to actually get out there and do something. I don't believe that's prayer. I believe that real prayer moves our feet. So we are here to be in the world in new and innovative and imaginative ways. We are here to meet the needs for transformation in our world. People are longing for this message of transformation. They want to be able to transform their lives. Unity has tools to help people to shift and to transform their lives. We want to engage with people all over the world to be able to do that. We have online viewers from Brazil and India and the UK, all over the world. We need ways that we can interact with people online and have classes in person as well. We are going to continue to innovate, and this is part of our strategic plan that the board and I have been working on. We are also going to be building a platform. This is an online platform for other New Thought speakers, teachers, New Thought churches to collaborate and work together. We've been doing that. Yeah. We've been doing that with our Absolute Abundance classes, collaborating with Unity San Francisco. And that tie is getting stronger and stronger. We believe that we are stronger together. Unity in Marin is not in competition with anybody. We are here to work with others. We are here to work with other faith groups. We are here to work with faith groups that are very different from our own. We are here to work together to bring transformation, healing, and unity among people of the world. So that's some of what we learn from our history. That's some of the wisdom from our history that we continue to innovate. Just as Candy Wright was innovating by having services in her living room, and then Richard Manti was innovating by helping us to get this facility, and then Reverend Bill was innovating by getting the live streaming going. Reverend Medora was innovating by developing new programming and educational transformative experiences. We continue to do that. I'm in a class that meets every 2 weeks with the board of Unity Worldwide Ministries. We have a coach and we have facilitators who work with us on issues regarding race and equity. And so we do this book study and we go into all kinds of deep stuff. And it's not always easy. You know, Jesus said, the truth, you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. But he never said, the truth will make you comfortable. I want that to sink in. The facilitator of this class that I'm taking on dismantling racism, and I had a long, extended one-on-one conversation, and we were talking about that whole issue of safety, that sometimes people who are white will get defensive if they are sometimes challenged in some of the words that they say or some of the perceptions that they have or discounting people of color's experience. And yet I feel quite safe in that process. And the facilitator asked me, what is it, Tim, that helps you to feel safe? I said, what feels unsafe to me is when I am not growing. What feels unsafe to me is when I am just in the status quo and in denial. That is what is unsafe. We are being called as a community, as a congregation, to step into some new areas, to step into some new challenges. We've been through a challenge this last year. But we are safe because we are the presence of God in action. The universe is backing us up. We have the presence and power of Spirit propelling us forward, and we can face those challenges. We can look at our blind spots. We can look at those areas in which we need to engage in this world. We are here for growth. Growth is another word for transformation. And transformation and growth do not occur by doing the same thing we've always done. So we will be stepping into some new territories. I want to celebrate and give thanks for our history, knowing that our history propels us forward to step into even greater expressions of the presence of God as us. Thank you. So I'd like for you to repeat after me. You ready? All right, take a deep breath. I want you to say this with gusto. All right, repeat after me. I am inclusive. I am invitational. I am inspirational. I am imaginative. I am innovative. I am the presence of God in action. Deal with it. Thank you.
Individual level, there were fires a few years.
again, thank you, choir, and thank you, Dr. Cindy. And I also want to show a brief video clip of something that Reverend Bill Engelhardt is saying. I thought it'd just be good to show this. It's very brief. Thank you.
I think on the individual level, there were fires a few years ago, and one of our congregants, their house burned down. And they were in church that Sunday, and they said they were really looking for a place to stay while their house gets rebuilt. And of course, after a fire knocks out hundreds of homes, rental, properties are few and far between. And I put it out to the congregation that Sunday to say, we need to help our congregants. Does anybody know anyone that can help them find a rental place for up to a year or so while they're going to rebuild? And before the day was over, they had somebody. They had a place.
Oh, nice.
And so on the individual level, I was really proud of that. I'm proud of individuals who've gone on to do, wonderful things. Of course, our friend Reverend Medora Gordon.
Right.
To school, getting ordained. Her selfless service throughout the years to the community is remarkable. We're all indebted. I agree. Is that many people will never fully realize, and it was really an honor to be in ministry with her and to see the dedication and all the lives that she's touched and all the challenges that the organization went through, and she was right there. So I'm just so proud of her. Mm-hmm.
There's so many great things in this interview. I just wanted to share that. Thank you for your service, Reverend Medora. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Reverend Medora. That's really, really appropriate. And thank you to the choir. And yeah, let's just give them a hand. I was looking at those 10 people up there, and it kind of occurred to me that throughout COVID, there has been a song. Throughout this year plus, there has been a song of faith, of hope, of love. There have been a lot of setbacks, but people have had faith, and they've been singing it, maybe not with words or music, but I love that the choir is sort of tapping into that and expressing that for all of us. And to Reverend Cindy and the 9 other people who were up there, and I think I know all of you, and you're all special people. Thanks again for the music, and just awesome. I wanted to just thank Reverend Bill for that talk, and I love in the beginning how many people feel the same way, that history sort of makes your eyes roll, and that it's not always the most interesting, inviting topic to say we're going to talk history, but this is how I do history. I try to walk it. I try to walk history. So this morning I tried to walk history, and I just wanted to run you for about 60 seconds on what I did. So I got up and I drove by in Larkspur, the Masonic Lodge. And that's where, many of these services were done, the church in the box that we talked about. And then when I got here to campus, I went into the Candida Wright room, which if you go in, it's a beautiful little space. It's cluttered now, but there on the wall is painted, "Peace, be still." And, this person whom I never met, but I'm looking at Bonnie Abbey, and I just think, who really knew the beginnings, this was how that song that went through COVID expressed itself in the 60s. And it really pulled people together in a living room, and then in a hair-cutting salon, and then the Masonic Lodge. And then I went a little further, and I texted Reverend Manti, and just wanted to reach out to him, through Valerie Marshall and Mark, and just, I didn't even see you there because I wear glasses, to Valerie and Mark, and just to bring in this wonderful person who gave so much. And then I texted Reverend Bill, who texted me right back, and we see him now. And I think of the 12 years he was here, sometimes doing scrambled eggs to give us spiritual food, and sometimes putting up prison bars, around Easter. He worked in San Quentin a lot, and this was a way of expressing the resurrection, that creativity that, he really gave so much. And then the clip we just saw, this was a special time for me when Reverend Bill decided he wanted to be with his family and do other things. Reverend Medora, Reverend Bill, they sat down in my tiny little living room in Larkspur, and we were like, what are we going to do? And Reverend Medora was just the lifesaver. And I had probably some of the best experiences being with her through that process, watching her grow, as the board president at the time. And I feel like it was more of history that I get to walk through, and I walked through this morning. So this morning I just gave her a hug. So that was my embrace. And then I saw Reverend Tim, and one of the first people, that I got to meet him. I was lucky coming from Hawaii, and I really felt, this is the way life goes. It's reincarnation, it's recycling, it's continuance, it's growth. And here we are today, with COVID and the song of hope. And I just feel so honored to be here in front of you and to see everybody. And who knew where we would be? I really kept thinking the doors might be shuttered looking at our finances. And so, here we are. And I just want to give a hand to all of us here, and just to the collective spirit of unity and of the fact that we pray better together, we love better together. So let's give a hand to each other. And one of those people, I really want to honor, like we all have a hall of fame. I'd rather call it a hall of gratitude. And one of the big people in that hall of gratitude to me is Dr. Cindy Acker. And I feel like you could just go on, but let's just start with the choir, which we saw, the Montessori school, which really she got going and put so much of her time and love into, and now really helping us get real with race. And I think it really is a resource that if somebody hasn't attended the Wednesdays should consider attending. It's just, social justice has its root in scriptures. Jesus preached inclusive. Full stop. He preached inclusivity. And how can we be in a white county with a lot of money or wherever we are and not understand that has present implications? So I really want to thank Dr. Acker, and also call out the polite ignorance that many of us practice. And as I get more involved in Marin politics, I really look to her example and to her message. And I hope we all can just embrace that and include that. So Dr. Acker, thank you. And we have a talent show coming up. We've had them year after year. We had a little pause. And I think, just to be a little on the poetic side, I think Unity in Marin has a talent show every week. And the talent is Reverend Tim, Reverend Medora. Look at this space. The beauty here, it's the talent of artists of the heart creating sacred space. And it's the talent of wordsmiths of the Spirit praying with us, over 1,000 prayers through the chaplains. And so, in a way, the talent show, to me, is just a very public and, sort of framed time reference for all the talent that happens all the time here. But nonetheless, it's a fundraiser, and if you can just, enjoy the beauty, the music, all the things that really flow over in people's hearts here. It's on May 21st. It's online. It is a fundraiser, so it helps. I'm certainly going to attend and try to get a few other people, and it'll just be wonderful. So please join us on April 21st. May 21st, thank you. Great, and we have very talented editors, so thank you. And as we've I this is our 55th anniversary of the incorporation today, and there's lots of material. There will be more. Enough said. I feel that it's great to have all the people who've been part of this and to remember them, and may we continue another 55 years. So the other thing that we're doing is we're practicing gratitude, learning absolute abundance, and Reverend Deanne in Unity in San Francisco is leading this. And it really, again, we have so many people across the country, across the world, and it's great to start using, what we've learned during COVID to make virtual communities. And please attend this. It's a great way to, sometimes gratitude, I think the biggest hang up for me is I'm asking for something I'm wanting rather than thanking or noticing what I already have. And today is a great example. I mean, I don't need more than this. And so it's just a matter of being happy with that. And I think this class is just another way to get there. So please attend if you can. And our last little announcement slide up here before we go into our closing prayers is I couldn't think of a better person to thank for being the service sponsor than Claire Grinzel. Claire, can you please stand up? She is very... Claire is in big time in my Hall of Gratitude. I just have to tell you a small story. I got married actually in this room with Valerie Marshall, talking about all the connections in gratitude. And my wife, Neve, and I, we just had this wonderful thing. And we come home, and on our deck is an apple tree. And I was like, what? And it had all these placards prepared, and it was this thing to show for, just the abundance of fruit and apples, moving into your new married life. And I couldn't figure it out. And it was Claire. Claire had actually put this together and driven and kind of snuck it into my backyard and all that. And that to me is just Claire all over. She's been on the board for almost a decade. You saw her in the choir. She's done the prayer chaplaincy for probably 15 years plus. And I think, Claire, you really today, because I know you're a humble person, but just to know that you reflect the Christ. And we want to thank you for that and all the stuff you've done, everything. Thank you so much. And while I mentioned Claire, okay.
I forgot to mention one thing. Some of you here may wonder, well, when is the offering? And we're not passing plates yet because of COVID precautions. So the baskets are back here in the narthex when you leave. So if you'd like to give back there. And again, we thank all of you online viewers for giving. Thank you.
Thank you. We edit as we go. But anyway, Claire, thank you. And yes, for anybody who feels so moved, I'm certainly going to go back there and put my money in. I also wanted to thank just a couple more people. Sarah LaValle, she served as board president. I think she's moved on. Mel and Sam Engel, they created a large matching fund, which got us through COVID. All the hundreds of chaplains, all of you sitting here, every one of you, I would want to thank in that hall of gratitude. I mean, I know who I'm looking at, and every one of you is given. So thank you for that. And Valerie and Mark. So let's say the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And let's close with our peace song.
And I'm thrilled to be here with Reverend Bill Engelhardt, who was the previous senior minister here at Unity in Marin for, was it 13 years? Mm-hmm. Yes, for 13 years before I came. And there are so many things that I am grateful to you for, Reverend Bill, in terms, and he and I were just talking, but maybe I'll ask you, what are some of the things that you see as big accomplishments that occurred there at Unity in Marin while you were there? We were just talking about some of that before we started recording, but what are some of the things that you see that really were big accomplishments at Unity in Marin?
Well, first, I just want to say thank you for having me, Tim. It's so great.
Absolutely.
I think Unity in Marin is totally blessed in having you as their senior minister.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Some of the accomplishments over the years that I was there, I think the first one was just coming through the Great Recession. I got there in 2006, and then in 2008, the bottom falls out. People are losing their jobs, their houses. Unity in Marin had a really good rental program for weddings and events, and so that was a good source of income. But when the Great Recession happened, it was a double punch because people were losing their jobs and their houses, et cetera, and so donations were going down. And then when it came to people having their weddings, people couldn't afford to rent a place anymore, so they were doing it in their backyard. And so it was just a punch right away. And the organization, we made it through, with all the changes and things that we had to do and cost cutting, et cetera. That was very difficult. I'm just so proud of the organization to have made it through the Great Recession.
Right. Wow.
To be able to climb back out of that. Over the years, paying down a big part of the mortgage, not all of it. I wanted it all paid off for you.
Thanks.
I tried,
Thank you.
Paid off the mortgage, it's just not a sexy fundraising thing.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
But, we did redo Unity Hall, just remodeled the whole thing, the bathrooms, that are in the, right next to Unity Hall, redoing those things. I remember negotiating with banks for the mortgage to every year or so, a couple of years we'd have to refinance. And the idea came up in a board meeting to reach out to the Marin Community Foundation to see if they would take on the mortgage. And they had never taken on a church before. And I remember when we made the application, I sent them a list, or not just a list, but copies of thank you notes from all kinds of organizations, charities, et cetera, that Unity in Marin had been supporting.
Right.
They would send us thank you notes. And so it was like an inch thick, right?
Amazing.
We sent all that in. And later on, after we got the loan, I learned that a lot of those same organizations that we were supporting, they were as well. Mm-hmm. So that refinancing through them saved thousands of dollars a month.
Fantastic.
The bank rate to the Marin Community Foundation. So that's one of those, behind the scenes thing. Not everybody looks on.
Yes.
It's huge for the organization. Great to partner with them. And of course, opening the Montessori school. Cindy Acker, of course, when I sat down with her once, I was trying to figure out different ways to bring in other sources of income. And I was asking her about, do you know anybody who needs a music school or something like that? And she didn't. And then I asked her, well, I don't really know you. Tell me about yourself. And found out all that she knows about Montessori and the schools that she's opened. And so, her knowledge, skills, abilities, and willingness to shepherd us through that process was just huge. And the other person that was equally important in bringing that off was Sarah Lavallee. I mean, she is one of the smartest people I know, and she took the bull by the horns.
Right.
Her and Cindy, I mean, they ramrodded that thing. They did an incredible job. I'm like, just tell me what you need me to do.
Right. And I just want to jump in here and say that, that mortgage with the Marin Community Foundation. They've been so supportive. They've given us a forbearance throughout the pandemic, so we haven't had to make any mortgage payments, no extra interest, just tagged on extra time at the end of the mortgage. And that starting of the Hamilton Montessori School was pure genius. It has now become monthly a fantastic contributor financially, $8,000 a month coming to the ministry through that school. We've had over 18 children on the waiting list. We are expanding into the sanctuary. I just want to thank you for and Sarah and Cindy and all of those involved for helping to set that up. And it's such a beautiful ministry. I see those kids whenever I'm on campus. It was a stroke of genius.
Well, that was definitely a divine idea. We thought about it for years, but I never knew anybody knew anything about it. And then here to sit across from Cindy, and like she's the oracle of it. So
right.
To run through all the traps to get it done. It was really a divine idea, because as soon as it came up, having the right person, having the right team, one of our administrative assistants contacted a school nearby that had closed, and they were willing to donate all kinds of chairs and desks and playground equipment.
Wow.
To us. And so but then how do you go pull up a playground, out of the ground? It turns out we had another congregant, his company sold playgrounds. And so he knew everything about it. And so he came with the equipment. We had, I don't know how many guys, that were digging out, knocking the concrete out.
That's amazing.
Congregants, collecting everything up, cleaning everything. And so it was one of those things where the congregation was definitely involved. I mean, we didn't know. And so we went to the board, got supported, and went to the congregation and explained, why I thought it was important. And for them to be able to get behind it and then to see all those things happen.
That's fantastic.
Just a pure joy. And I'm so glad that things have gone as well as you're saying. One of the things that I did as we built that playground was that I wrote a prayer on a big piece of paper about seeing the future and seeing hundreds of children being educated there and the joy it would bring.
Oh, that's awesome.
In the cement that went down. And at the time, that seemed like a dream, because there was, all kinds of challenges. But I'm so pleased to hear the things.
Well, that is wonderful. Was that Kurt Ware?
Yes, that's exactly what. Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, put in the playground. Oh, that's awesome. So the mortgage, the school, the playground. What are some of the other big accomplishments? You and I were just sharing about the live streaming and
the live streaming back early on. Josh Holmes, who used to work with us, work at
right. Yes.
Just a phenomenal guy, knows about technology, and early on, I was a big proponent, and he had the knowledge to be able to say, how are we going to live stream? How are we going to? Well, first, it was go on the CDs or cassettes. The CDs.
Yes. I remember those days. Yeah.
I remember duplicating.
Yes.
Cassettes in the day. But to go through all that and to be able to, get the technology, and again, we didn't have tons of people at the time that were watching us online, but we had people from different countries, from South America,
Yes.
Sweden, from Europe, all over. People were tuning in. It wasn't the hundreds of people, but it was a place I felt we really needed to be. And the analogy I used was, there was a time when newspapers didn't want to put their articles online because they figured they're giving it away for free.
Right.
If they didn't do that, they're out of business now.
Right.
And so
That's right.
The same way about technology. We need to be out there and doing it. And I'm so glad to see that that's continued, and under your leadership, how it's grown.
Yeah, that was, again, I mean, not all Unity churches have invested and building that platform and that foundation of having that kind of online live streaming and to build the virtual congregation. I know at Unity Worldwide Ministries, we did some research, and this was 2 or 3 years ago, okay? And of all the Unity churches that we researched, only about 35 or 37 of them that we could identify were doing live streaming. And I was shocked when I saw that. I was like, are you kidding me? And so when we got into the pandemic and sheltered in place, I'm so grateful we had that platform and that ability to connect with people online. What a huge gift. And then to be able to build on that and build the church, as I was sharing with you, so that now there's twice as many people. So thank you. Wow. Thank you so much for that.
So glad to see that investment and that time is paid off, and that you were able to take it and then really do with it what we had at one point, just really hoped would happen.
Yes. Right.
Fruition. So
right. Thank you. That's awesome. I also wanted to ask you about what do you see as being some of the ways in which Unity in Marin has really changed people's lives? While you were here, what was some of the evidence that you saw that people's lives were really being touched and changed by Unity in Marin's involvement?
Well, I think there's so many different things from the individual to the organizational level. I remember that we helped a lot of nonprofits schools that would come and do fundraisers at Unity Marin. And we had a guy that was an auctioneer, and we had a certain way in which we did it that was very successful for us. And so we gave that away. We told her, here's some ideas, to help you with your fundraising. And that really, mushroomed out that every person who came, every organization, they did better in their fundraising because we were able to help them. Look at the
nice.
I think on the individual level, there were fires a few years ago, and one of our congregants, their house burned down, and they were in church that Sunday, and they said they were really looking for a place to stay while their house gets rebuilt. And of course, after a fire knocks out hundreds of homes, rental, properties are few and far between. And I put it out to the congregation that Sunday to say, we need to help our congregants. Does anybody know anyone that can help them find a rental place for up to a year or so while they're going to rebuild? And before the day was over, they had somebody. They had a place.
Oh, nice.
And so on the individual level, I was really proud of that. I'm proud of individuals who've gone on to do, wonderful things. Of course, our friend Reverend Medora Gordon.
Right.
To school, getting ordained. Her selfless service throughout the years to the community is remarkable. We're all indebted.
I agree.
Is that many people will never fully realize. And it was really an honor to be in ministry with her and to see the dedication and all the lives that she's touched and all the challenges that the organization went through. And she was right there. So I'm just so proud of her. I'm proud of Reverend Leanne Vong, who was a congregant of ours, was on the board for a while in the church, and then she went on to get ordained at Unity Village, and so she's touching hundreds of people's lives as well. I think Elisa Starbird, who was running Wednesday night services, where we had little to nothing going on Wednesday night.
Yes.
And she just took it over. I'm like, yeah, do whatever you want. And she ends up bringing in Karen Drucker, every month. Steve Halpern,
right,
the godfather of New Age music. He comes in. I love the guy. And he was just so mellow. He'd come and he'd do it every month. And,
right.
We had the New Year's Eve drumming circle that came out of that. I mean, just so many people's lives were touched. And that was a ministry that, Lisa was really running. And I knew that on Wednesday night, there were people that couldn't come to Sundays, but they could come to a Wednesday. And so they were getting filled that way. So I know a lot of people got touched. Of course, every board I had at Unity in Marin, I was so proud of. and they were just so awesome. So many selfless, people, talented, whether it was Gabe or Sarah or Al Gaspari, Pamela, Claire. I mean, I could go on, and if I didn't mention your name, it just goes so many. But I'm indebted to all of you who really, their dedication to the organization was huge. And the organization would never have been what it is without them and the people that came before.
Right.
I think about the circulation day. Once a year, we'd have people just clean out their closet or, their storage unit, whatever you're not using anymore, bring it to church, and we're just going to give it away. It's not going to be a garage sale or anything else. And people from the neighborhood would know when that was going to happen, and they would just come. And I'm like, that's totally fine.
Nice.
Want to keep it in circulation.
Right.
So I know there were thousands of people, that over the years that were able to release what was no longer serving them, then to be able to pick up something.
Right. That's wonderful.
Life would. And so I was really proud how that really blossomed. The blood drives, the putting packages together to support our troops, exposing people to new thought by partnering with the local religious science church. And we brought in Michael Beckwith several times. We brought Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson. We'd rent out a huge place and bring people.
That's wonderful.
Get connected to these ideas and new thought. And so there's thousands and thousands of people. We had a choir from Oakland would come over. I mean, it was just
right.
It was just wonderful. And so many of our congregants put together things, backpack drives for the homeless. Bill Ham, every year, the whole Unity Hall would be full of backpacks and all kinds of stuff, and high school kids would come and stuff them, and then, get in vans and give them out to homeless people, throughout the Bay Area. Giving the place for free to Compassionate Friends, which is an organization where if someone lost a child.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Give them the facility. Of course, Bread and Roses, having them do their fundraiser every year for free. And they're the one that bring music to prisons and nursing homes and that kind of thing. And of course, so many lives were touched within the organization. Congregants helping each other through illness, through injury, and end of life, that they would be there. You could be an older person in this congregation and maybe not have, young people in your life, but the church was there. People that are bringing you something, visiting you, the whole 9 yards. So that always really touched my heart. So and hopefully my talks made some difference.
I know they did. And one of the things that I consistently hear is the healing power of this community, how they've been there for each other through all of this. I don't know if you were referring to Frank and Claire Gallardo that had been burnt out up in Santa Rosa area. I think of how people reached out to them or reached out to others in their time of need. And so recently, I've gotten lots of remarks from people of how this community has healed them. So again, I thank you for your leadership, for how you helped to build that, how you helped to build that online, and help to really build this place that cares for one another. And by your teaching, your talks, your leadership, your example, you help contribute a great deal to this community that continues, as some people tell me, save their lives in terms of finding spiritual principles and that deep sense of community and love that is expressed to one another. Now, before we started recording, you were telling me some things that Richard Manti was saying, and that there's no way that anybody could really understand what all a minister is doing or experiences or necessarily goes through, because so much of it is behind the scenes, unless you've actually done it. And so we've talked about a lot of accomplishments, and obviously it's a lot of work, but what are some of your favorite memories here? Or what are some of the funniest memories? Either one, because it's fun too. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of work and it's also fun. At least I hope it was for you at times.
I tell people it was the most challenging work I've ever done in my life, and it was the most rewarding work I'd ever done in my life. I mean, both of those things coming together. And there were times, a lot of funny moments. I remember I was giving a talk once, and I'm up on the platform, and I'm speaking, and all of a sudden I see all the people in the congregation going like this. Going back and forth, like there's a tennis match going on behind me. I'm like wondering, well, I don't know what's going on here. Until finally I realized there's a horsefly around my head. Right? And, it's like, what are you going to do?
You're being upstaged.
I was being upstaged by a fly. Right? Totally engrossed. It was hilarious. And so I just reach up, in a million shot, I caught it.
Did you really?
I caught it. And the whole thing was like stunned, right? And I was talking like it's no big deal.
Right.
But then I'm thinking, as a minister, you'll appreciate this. And what am I going to do with this? If I kill it, that's not going to look very ministerial.
Right.
If I go splat on the platform. So I'm thinking, and I'm talking, and they're just like, jaws open. So I get off the stage, and there's the side door.
Right.
I just open the side door and let it out, and I come back in, and the whole place goes up for grabs.
That's great.
They're howling, and it's it's hilarious.
I love it.
And I'm in the line. This is the end of the second service, and a guy comes through. I kid you not. I thought he was joking. He said, "Did you do that in the first service too?" I'm like, oh yeah.
You have a trained horsefly.
That's what I thought. I said, yeah, that's my pet fly. I mean, that just killed me. There's another time I was doing a talk, and I had a surprise for the congregation. I had a guy that ran a big cat sanctuary bring in a full-grown mountain lion.
Wow.
Behind the stage and put it up on a table. Right, so I'm doing the talk, and in the middle of the talk, he knows when to come out.
Okay.
The cat up on the stage. This thing's like 150 pounds, and it's big. And I remember asking him, I'm like, so, I got my back to him. How do you keep him from not reaching out, clawing me? He goes, I've got some food, some meat, things. And he said, that'll be good. And I'm like, we have 2 services. And then he was like, He goes, well, I'll be out of the food by then. I'm like, oh, okay. And, to this day, people talk about, oh my God, Bill brought a mountain lion on stage. But my question is always, so what was my talk about?
Nobody can tell you, but they remember the mountain lion.
That's right. I learned something there. I'm like, if you're going to pull something like that, it better be at the end of the talk. And of course, the talk was Daniel in the lion's den.
Ah, okay. Great. How apropos.
I look back at some of those things and go, I learned,
That's so fun. And it is a fun place. It's a fun community, fun group of people. And I know that you connected with so many people here, and, we're here for 13 years. I just want to thank you for your work that you did here. And I hope this is okay to share. We can edit this out if it's not. But you were sharing with me a little bit earlier, Bill, that you hold this church and me in your prayers every day. And that means so much to me, to know that we continue to be in your prayers. And the work that you did continues to go forward and to expand in new ways. And we just bless you and give thanks for the work that you did here in helping Unity and Marin to prosper, helping it to thrive as a community, and helping it to really unfold into even more greatness. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I send my love and blessings to all the people at Unity and Marin. You're all in my heart. And
wow.
Blessings to you, Tim, for being the right person.
Thank you.
Time to lead Unity in Marin forward.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. It's a blessing to have you here.